Have you ever wondered about the man who built the largest contiguous land empire in history? A man whose name echoed across continents, striking fear and awe into the hearts of millions. This isn't just a story of conquest. It is a tale of a boy born into hardship who rose to unite a nation and reshape the world. Today, we're diving deep into the epic life of Genghis Khan. Our story begins around the year 1162. On the vast, unforgiving steppes of modern-day Mongolia, a baby boy was born clutching a blood clot in his fist, a sign, according to shamanistic belief, that he was destined to be a great leader. He was named Temüjin, but his path to greatness was anything but certain. Life on the steppe was brutal. Nomadic tribes constantly clashed over resources, and loyalty was a fleeting concept. Temüjin's early life was marked by tragedy. When he was just 9 years old, his father, Yasuge, a minor chieftain, was poisoned by a rival Tatar tribe. This single act shattered his world. His own clan, seeing no use for a widow and her young children, abandoned them to die. Cast out and hunted, Temüjin, his mother Holon, and his siblings were forced to survive on their own, eating roots and hunting small animals. This period of extreme hardship forged an iron will within the young boy. He learned to be resourceful, resilient, and utterly ruthless when necessary. One of the most defining moments of his youth was his capture by a rival clan. They locked him in a wooden stockade, a kang, intending to keep him as a slave. But even as a teenager, Temüjin's spirit was unbreakable. In a daring escape under the cover of night, he hid in a river with only his head above the water until his pursuers gave up. This incredible feat of endurance and cunning began to build his reputation. As he grew into a young man, Temüjin started gathering followers. He wasn't a prince born into power. He earned his authority through charisma, strategic brilliance, and a keen understanding of people. He sought out his father's old ally, Togrul, the powerful leader of the Conqueror tribe, and pledged his loyalty. This alliance gave him the military backing he needed to start reclaiming his place in the world. A pivotal event was the abduction of his young wife, Bert, by the Merkit tribe. This was a grave insult, but for Temüjin, it was also an opportunity. With the help of his ally Togrul and his childhood friend and blood brother, Jamuka, he raised an army, crushed the Merkits, and rescued Bert. This victory was huge, and not only brought his wife back, but also announced his arrival as a formidable military commander. For a time, Temüjin and Jamuka ruled their growing followers together, but their philosophies on leadership clashed. Jamuka favored the traditional aristocratic system, where leaders were chosen by noble birthright. Temüjin, on the other hand, championed a meritocracy. He promoted people based on skill and loyalty, not their family name. This revolutionary idea attracted talented individuals from all walks of life to his banner. Eventually, their differences became irreconcilable, leading to a bitter rivalry. The two blood brothers became arch-enemies, and their conflict would shape the future of the Mongol tribes. The war between Temüjin and Jamuka was long and brutal, but Temüjin's innovative tactics and his ability to inspire unwavering loyalty in his men gave him the edge. He organized his warriors into units of 10, 100, and 1,000, creating a highly disciplined and mobile army. He rewarded his soldiers generously with the spoils of war, ensuring their loyalty. In 1206, after years of tribal warfare, Temüjin had finally defeated all his rivals, including Jamuka. That year, at a grand assembly known as a Kurultai, the leaders of all the unified Mongol tribes proclaimed him Genghis Khan, meaning the universal ruler. The boy who was abandoned to starve on the steppe was now the sole leader of a new unified nation, the Mongols. But uniting the tribes was just the beginning. Genghis Khan's vision extended far beyond the Mongolian steppe. He established a written legal code called the Yasa, which covered everything from property rights to a ban on kidnapping women. He created a postal system, the Yam, which allowed for rapid communication across his burgeoning empire. He promoted trade and tolerated different religions, creating a surprisingly stable and interconnected society. With his domestic front secured, Genghis Khan turned his gaze outward. His first major campaign was against the Western Xia Kingdom in northern China. which he subdued to secure his southern border. Next, he set his sights on the powerful Jin dynasty of northern China. The Mongols, once considered unsophisticated nomads, now faced one of the most advanced civilizations on Earth, but Genghis Khan's military genius was unmatched. Using feigned retreats, lightning-fast cavalry charges, and innovative siege warfare tactics learned from captured engineers, the Mongols systematically broke down the Jin defenses. In 1215, they captured the Jin capital, Zhengdu, which we now know as Beijing. The event that truly unleashed the full force of the Mongol horde upon the world came from the west. Genghis Khan had sought to establish trade relations with the wealthy Khwarezmian Empire, which stretched across modern-day Iran, Afghanistan, and Central Asia. He sent a trade caravan, with the governor of a Khwarezmian city, Otrar, foolishly executed the Mongol merchants and envoys. This was an act of aggression Genghis Khan could not ignore. What followed was one of the most devastating military campaigns in history. Enraged, Genghis Khan personally led a massive army of over 100,000 warriors into Khwarezmia. He divided his forces using brilliant strategic maneuvers to outwit and overwhelm his enemies. Cities that resisted, like Samarkand and Bukhara, were razed to the ground, their populations decimated. The Mongol invasion was terrifyingly efficient, a whirlwind of destruction that left a scar on the historical memory of the region for centuries. The Khwarezmian Empire completely collapsed. In the final years of his life, Genghis Khan was still on the campaign trail. He was leading a punitive expedition against the Western Shia, who had betrayed their alliance. It was during this campaign, in the year 1227, that the great Conqueror died. The exact cause of his death remains a mystery. Some say he fell from his horse, others claim he died of illness or in battle. Following his own command, his body was returned to Mongolia and buried in a secret, unmarked grave. To this day, the final resting place of Genghis Khan has never been found. But his legacy was secure. He had laid the foundation for an empire that, under his sons and grandsons, would stretch from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe. Genghis Khan is a complex figure. To many, he was a brutal conqueror responsible for the deaths of millions. To the Mongols, he is the revered founding father of their nation, a visionary leader who united his people and gave them a place in the world. His story is a powerful reminder of how a single individual, forged in the crucible of hardship, can rise to change the course of history forever. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey through history as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more epic stories from our past. See you in the next one.